Welcome to Movie Galaxy. What if God is just a grumpy, sarcastic old man who likes to make people suffer for fun? After God created the world, he kicked back in his nice office. He had his feet propped up on a big table that represented the earth. On this earth, trees grew, elephants roamed, and people lived simple lives. As he was reading a book, his butler, Jeffrey, asked if he was enjoying it. God said it was only okay, but he was happy because it had a recipe for a black hole. God turned a page in his book and noticed the people on Earth were getting busy. He saw a caveman rubbing a stick against a rock for hours, and God found it amusing and even a little touching. Suddenly, the man managed to make a fire. This act of independence made God furious. He demanded to know what time period it was, and his butler informed him that according to the plan, they weren't supposed to discover fire for another 2,000 years. Furious and angry, God ordered his butler, Jeffrey, to put out the fire. Jeffrey obeyed and blew a powerful gust of wind toward the people on Earth, which immediately snuffed out the flames. Frustrated and defeated, the people knelt on the ground. God calmed down and picked up his book again, muttering that the people were annoying him. He then told Jeffrey to drive them into a cave. Jeffrey waved his hand, and the elephants suddenly became aggressive. They trumpeted loudly and charged at the frightened people, who ran and hid inside a cave. God decided it would be a good idea to shrink their brains. Soon the people were back outside, doing a dance to ask for rain. God watched them and cursed, confused about what they were unhappy with this time. Jeffrey explained that God had forgotten to turn off the drought. God sighed tiredly and generously allowed his butler to give them some water. Surprised by this mercy, Jeffrey smirked, said, "God is merciful," and misted the earth with water from a spray bottle. The people on Earth happily raised their hands to the sky for the rain, and God laughed like a child as he watched. He told his butler, Jeffrey, to spray a few more times to make fun of them. After having his fun, God sat down with his book and casually told Jeffrey to release a plague. Shocked by God's sudden change in mood, Jeffrey's smile disappeared. He put the spray bottle down and walked to an old box that held a scary-looking vial. He gave God a nervous look, and with a blank expression, he released the plague on Earth. The people on the ground immediately began to fall, groaning and shaking. God stared blankly at their suffering for a few seconds, then went back to reading his book. A lot of time has passed. The primitive tribe on God's table has now transformed into modern-day London. Wearing silk pajamas, God sits beside the table and stares at the ground, looking bored. Jeffrey brings him a bottle of expensive wine from Lucifer. Lucifer also sent a letter suggesting ways to fix things and asking if God had time to go bowling. God ignored the message, pointing instead to a tall building in the city. When Jeffrey told him it was Ashley Tower, God lazily rubbed his eyes and ordered the butler to set fire to that building and the one next to it. God wanted to see what people would do. The butler took a match from his pocket, lit it, and threw it at Ashley Tower. God cheered for the perfect shot and happily listened to the people's screams. He excitedly watched as people ran to the roof to escape the fire, and he even warmed his hands over the flames and copied their cries for help. When police and fire trucks quickly arrived at the building, God asked Jeffrey what the people on the roof were thinking. The butler replied that he thought they were thinking about their families and hoping to be rescued. God stared at the burning building and ordered Jeffrey to send a twister, or sucker, at it. The butler guessed he meant a tornado and pointed out that they were rare in cities. This made God furious. He called people petty clowns and complained that they couldn't even find the other universes he created just for fun one Sunday night. In his anger, God demanded a tornado. Jeffrey, not wanting to disobey, waved his hand, and a tornado appeared over the burning building. The storm killed everyone on the roof and filled God's office with dust. God started to cough and told the tornado to stop because it was hard to breathe. When the dust finally cleared, God was satisfied and asked Jeffrey to bring him some marmalade toast. Thanks for watching our recap video. Don't forget to like and click the subscribe button to help the growth of this channel.